What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. It is a mighty fine Friday night here at the one and only Duffs Alcohol Abuse Center here in Brooklyn. And today we are here with Halcyon all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for your time today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, it's so great to have you here. So Bloody But Unbound is coming out in approximately 2 weeks, August 10th, right?
August 3rd, yeah.
August 3rd. That was close. But how was the... Yeah.
Do you even calendar, bro?
What's that? I was born in 93. I'm unfamiliar with this whole calendar.
Oh, okay.
Which you speak of. But how was the recording for Bloody But Unbound?
It was cool. It was a little shorter, actually tracking than we normally do. We normally take like 2 years because I don't know, we just do. But we cut the drums in February, went down to Florida for about 10 days or so. Cut those with Mark Lewis, and they came out just super killer. Went back to Atlanta after that, cut the guitars. Mark came up. Steve came to my studio in my house. We spent about 10 days on the vocals, something like that. They came out acceptable.
Barely. Passable.
Yeah. I mean, we're always shooting for a higher level of mediocrity, and that's what we do. But no, I mean, it went well. It was pretty smooth, and we had the album mixed by October and ready to go, and here we are.
Awesome. Now, did you guys have kind of like a preconceived idea with writing this record? Was there something that you went into the studio knowing what you wanted to do, or did you just kind of wing it and let things sort of take their place?
Well, we tried to... Conquer was definitely different than our first couple of releases. So we wanted just the gradual progression of what we started in Conquer, but we knew we wanted to be a little heavier. We wanted to have more breakdowns and stuff like that, so we have a little more modern aspect of it. So we had an idea what we wanted to accomplish, and we wanted to just be true to ourselves and write good catchy material.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. I mean, every time we do a record, our attitude is, okay, how do we one-up what we just did? And we felt very strongly that Conquer was our best release. And we were like, all right, well, how do we outdo that? And the only way we thought we could really outdo it is just to write better songs, just to write catchier songs and that kind of thing. So our goal, anytime we do a song, anything that makes our record, it's got to have a huge chorus, it's got to be meaty and just catchy and something that is going to be an earworm for people.
Awesome. Now, being that you mentioned that Conquer was one of your bigger releases and stuff, every time a band like has an album that does really well and they're really proud of, part of them is like, oh, do we now need to kind of like remake that record and kind of pick that up, or do we just want to completely go outside the box? Did that maybe, because Conquer was so successful, maybe add a little bit pressure with Bloody But Unbound?
Definitely had pressure to make better songs. We agonized over a lot of these songs, and we ripped them to shreds. We'd record, do pre-production on stuff, and have it done and in a can, and then go back and listen to it and be like, no, that's not right. Re-record everything, change everything. One, was it Blame that we changed 4 or 5 times?
Yeah,
I know we changed Church of Me like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah,
and like total rewrites. There's like total different chord progressions, total different. It wasn't just changing a melody line here or there. It was like a brand new song. So we definitely were second guessing ourselves a lot.
Wow. But I imagine the more you second guess yourself, the more you like push yourself and you even go farther outside your comfort zones, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we definitely, like Steve said, the song Blame, our first single, we rewrote that chorus 4 times until we felt like it was right. And then Church of Me, same deal. I mean, like the rest of the band actually wanted to kill that song because we could not get the chorus quite right. And I was like, no, I got a vision. It's going to be there. And then we finally nailed it, and we were like, yes. But
John kept saying, no, this is going to be good. I'm like, no, it's really not very good. But then we finally got to, we figured it out, and it was like, okay, I get it now. I get what you were trying to do, but we could have gotten to that. We could have crossed that bridge a little bit quicker, but...
Yeah, we probably could have, but whatever.
But we didn't, so that's just, sometimes it's just a gradual progression.
Yeah.
But to your question about, was there pressure to redo it or to make that album again or anything like that? No. I mean, it was definitely our most successful record by far that we've done so far, but we didn't feel like we needed to rewrite those songs or recreate the wheel. We just wanted to take the elements of our sound that we had established over the years and just progress with them and just take them further. And that was just, we wanted to be heavier and catchier and, just write better songs. That's really what it's about to us, is just, they've got to be great songs.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of bands, they like to say you want to put out your next record and you want to look at the record before that and go, oh, that was horrible. Well, obviously it's not, but you know what I mean by that.
Right.
Yeah. Now, at this point, because you guys have been making music now for quite some time, and you have this record out, has every record been a completely different experience for the band and recording, or at this point, like you guys working together, you kind of know what to expect and you guys know what to do when going into the studio?
It definitely has been different every release, for sure. I mean, our first record was a totally different group of dudes. That was actually supposed to be demos, and the drums came out really solid, so we turned it into a record, but it took us nearly 5 years to finish it before it got put out. And then Building the Towers, we had most of that material written before our first album even came out.
Wow.
So that was a very different process. Indoctrination, that material.
And I came into the band. I joined the band the week before recording started.
Right.
So like everything was already kind of written, and so I had to kind of go with what was there, but trying to add my own stuff. So for me, I was kind of like used to just doing what they were doing. They kind of dictated what I was going to, how I was going to sing and stuff like that. So,
well, because the songs were already written,
because they're already done. They're already the drums were
it's
done.
Like, no, bitch, do it.
Yeah,
do what I say.
Felt like a hard gun, except I didn't make any money. Hard guns make money. I did it all wrong.
Now, in the recording process, is there ever like a formula that you guys have in terms of like we need to write according to a drum beat, or it's very guitar driven? Does a lyrical concept ever determine the music? Like, is there ever something that comes first, or does each song have a different approach?
I think typically it starts with guitar riffs that I'll lay down. When I play the guitar, I'll sit in front of my computer and get Pro Tools going, get my Kemper going, and then I just write riffs.
Can't go wrong with Kemper.
Yeah, right? So I just write riffs, and then I'll just put a basic drum beat to it, and then I've got 3 or 4 things, they're strung together, let's see what happens. And then, we'll start kind of hammering on the vocal part of it, and then once we have some kind of skeleton built, then the rest of the band will start, putting their stamp on it, going, hey, let's change this, let's add this, drummer will come up with completely different beats, whatever. And so typically it'll start with something that, Steve and I have kind of roughed out, and then everybody else will get involved and we'll polish it up. That's kind of how we do it.
Awesome. Now, one thing I was curious about, coming from Atlanta, Georgia, I mean, everybody knows Mastodon as being like pretty much like the Metallica of Georgia metal and stuff, but there's a lot of amazing bands from just not even just like freaking Seven Dust coming from there, Royal Thunder,
right?
And just forget like even like your neighboring states like Arkansas, Paul Bearer coming from there, and so many amazing bands. Was there like a scene that you guys kind of cut your teeth in for Halcyon Way in the Georgia metal scene, or were you a band that kind of had to go outside your hometown in order to get your name out there?
A little of both, really. I mean, there has been a scene in Atlanta, but it's kind of evolved. Like, there used to be a really pretty good like power metal, prog metal kind of scene that we sort of fit into, because we're sort of those-ish.
We were.
But, but the scene has always had a ton of, frankly, like Pantera wannabe types,
Pantera ruined the South. Every band had to be like that.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's like, okay, they want to sound like Pantera, Lamb of God, or whatever. That's cool and all, but, there's a lot of that in Atlanta. But there's also been like a pretty nice resurgence of like just like old school thrash and things like that. And so there's a pretty good scene of that kind of thing going too.
Awesome. Now, having like elements of like power metal and thrash metal and prog metal, I was listening to Conquer, today, and comparing it to the singles that you've released so far off Bloody But Unbound. You do have a lot of elements. It almost seems like you can appeal to multiple audiences. You could appeal to people who like listen to Mastodon, people who listen to Creator, and people who listen to Threshold. You know what I mean? It seems like you guys have a very experimental style.
Yeah, appreciate that. I mean, really what it is that we all have a lot of different influences, I came up playing thrash metal. I was into Testament and Exodus and, old Metallica and Megadeth and things like that. It's what I kind of cut my teeth on as a guitar player. I went through a prog metal streak where I listened to a lot of old Dream Theater and Fates Warning and stuff like that. Queensryche have been a huge influence of me since I picked up the guitar. I mean, so I've got all those influences kind of coming up, and then I got into a lot of the more modern metal as well, which was really like heavily influenced by thrash, but so a lot of that kind of thing, like say an All That Remains or a Killswitch or Trivium or somebody like that.
My shit.
There you go.
Me too.
So, so I'm into a lot of things like that. So I have just a very wide variety of influences. But I also loved when I was getting into metal. King's X, Galactic Cowboys, all these big lush vocal harmonies. And so that was something I always wanted to have. So I've always wanted to be heavy, but have these vocal harmonies and that kind of thing too. And when Steve joined the band, we clicked immediately as writers because, I mean, this dude he'll put a 12-part vocal harmony on a song if I let him. All the notes, every note, all 12 of them at the same time.
No, that's not a problem at all. That's creativity.
Right.
Actually,
I like this guy. We're going to keep you around.
actually, well, I went to art school. Creativity can be a problem. But no, I mean, it's cool to have different influences because, I'm not going to mention names, obviously, but you could listen to a band and, they're labeled as this, they're kind of pigeonholed in that, and, you could tell, there's no mystery behind it, which is fine. Some bands just want to do that, but you guys clearly are open to many different elements. It's got to keep the songwriting process interesting.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think we ever put it we don't want to ever be pigeonholed as this or that, so we always just, it comes back to the songs. As long as it's catchy, has a catchy chorus, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if there's more of a progressive element to it. It doesn't matter if there's more of a modern metal element. We just use it all.
Yeah, it could be hard rock. It could be really anything.
Cock rock.
Yeah, exactly, cock rock. Journey for Balls.
There's so many different genres out there. I almost feel like people are just saying a word and adding core at the end of it, and bam, you have a new genre. It's actually happened. Do that, and there'll be a Wikipedia page with 3 bands in that genre.
We're vegetarian meatcore sandwich metal.
Earth Crisis. Hello.
They're vegetarian meatcore.
Cattle Decapitation.
Vegetarian grindcore.
Damn. I gotta up my game.
Gotta get with the program, man.
Do you even metal, bro?
Yeah, I don't calendar. Do you metal?
Oh, that's harsh, man. That's harsh.
Oh, man. We're done. And we're done.
I'm gonna drop it right here on your nuts.
Hey, listen, we're at Duffs. Everybody's drinking. I mean, it's the perfect place to get into a fight right here.
Exactly.
And, the final question,
If the band members got in a fight during this interview, would it be good press?
well, the PR is here. Just let me ask them.
All right, let's do it.
But before we go, I want to thank you guys so much for your time. It's Friday night here at Duffs. We're all going to get hammered after your interviews today, right?
That's right.
I mean, you guys had to fly here today. I imagine there's some flying frustration you want to get out.
Pretty much,
Yeah. But just the usual, at Bloody But Unbound is coming out on August 3rd. I got it right this time. But obviously, you're going to want to do some touring off of it. What could we be expecting from the Halcyon Way Army?
Well, right now we've got a European offer on the table. We're going to see if we can get that to work out, see what happens there. We also had something come across our desk to go back to Russia, so we would love to do that. We're just kind of playing the wait and see game as far as what's going to work out what's going to work out first, and just make it happen. But we're definitely going to get out there and hit the road and support this record.
And hopefully come back to the U.S. It's been too long.
Yeah, we haven't been able to tour the U.S. for about 2 years, and it's odd that that's happened, but here we are, so we're going to try to make that happen again.
Got to make people miss you, though, you know what I mean?
Well, this is true.
Yeah. And again, because as I mentioned, you have the diversity in your music to tour with a creator or a pallbearer or whatever, so, people could be expecting to see you, and they don't know what tour package to see you on.
Right.
That's true.
Yep.
Can't wait till we get on that vegan soy core.
Just turn his mic off. Just edit his parts out.
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm keeping this in.
I want to be pixelated. Can we do that?
I'll just export this video to like 5:40 p.m.
You need to put like the black over top of him, have like his voice all like he's in witness protection, like on Gangland when the guys start talking.
I'm gonna request every interview be done at Duffs.
It's gonna be sick.
But it was so good to have you guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Alex, appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Everybody, we are here with Halcyon Wade, Bloody But Unbound. It is coming out August 3rd. You do not want to miss it. Catch them on their tour when they are announced. And we'll see you next time on Heavy New York, everybody. We are at Duffs, and now it's time to party. It's Friday night.